It might reasonably be assumed that England's footballers will get a frosty reception when their World Cup campaign in Russia kicks off tomorrow night. After all, diplomatic relations between Britain and Russia are at their coolest for decades following the Salisbury poisoning. So perhaps surprisingly, many citizens of Volgograd, formerly Stalingrad, in southern Russia, will be cheering us on during England's opening game against Tunisia. That's just as well, since only a paltry 2,000 England fans are expected at the 45,000-capacity Volgograd arena for the crunch game, with many clearly put off by fears that they will receive a hostile welcome because of political tensions. Share this article. Share yesterday, Russian medical student Natasha Grebenkina, 21, was dressed in an England football shirt. "Don't worry, we'll be shouting for your boys," she said as she walked near the stadium with her similarly attired friend, Anna Akhmuradova. Anna said, "We like the English. The people here are very friendly and welcoming. There's nothing to be afraid of. It won't just be the welcome that's warm for those who make the journey." Manager Gareth Southgate's team were arriving today in Volgograd from their tournament base 1,000 miles north on the Gulf of Finland to around 90°F heat. The poorest of the 12 World Cup host cities, Volgograd is closer to Tehran and Istanbul than Moscow and St. Petersburg. For this World Cup, the weight of expectation that has crushed England's footballers at previous tournaments doesn't hang quite so heavily over Southgate's young squad, which has been playing with verve and a rare team spirit. Although they are not yet what the manager calls the finished article, they will have done the nation proud, most pundits agree, if they make the quarter-finals. Inevitably, when the referee blows his whistle to start the game at 7 p.m. tomorrow, triggering cries of encouragement in Volgograd and in pubs and homes in Britain, some England fans will still allow themselves to dream of going all the way. "You can't help it, can you?" said James Casriel, 38, from Bristol, one of the first fans to arrive here. "It's stupid really, because I've been disappointed so many times. Your head tells you one thing and your heart another." Others attested to the friendliness of their Russian hosts. Luke Summerhays, from Hull, said, "They've been great, not at all as I expected." Roman Zaitsev, head of Volgograd's branch of the Open Russia Foundation, said the city was ready to embrace the English. Moscow portrays Western countries in a negative way. But many see through it. And others simply don't care and have little interest in Moscow politics, he said. Anatoly Stologubov, who runs an online news agency, added, "People here are very familiar with the Premier League, and there is an affinity with the English. I believe a lot of people in the stadium will be supporting England. The great thing about the World Cup for us in Volgograd is that we get the rare opportunity to meet people from all over the world. Football brings people together in a way that politics can't." Nevertheless, many fans will have been horrified by the scenes at Euro 2016 in France, when Russian hooligans went on the rampage, targeting England's supporters in what was seen as state-sponsored violence. But with the eyes of the world on Russia, President Putin has ordered a clampdown on the thugs and has put Yevgeny Zinichev, 51, a former deputy director of the FSB intelligence service, in charge of ensuring fan safety. Volgograd has been smartened up with new road surfaces and pavements. Anything too unsightly has been removed or covered up, and a temporary law has been passed banning guns from public transport lest they upset foreign visitors. And over the past few weeks, the authorities have all but wiped out the city's notorious mosquito population in time for the tournament. In a poisoning exercise that for once met with universal approval, a Russian plane swept low over the Volgodok-Tubanskaya Valley on 10 consecutive nights, dispensing pesticide. Meanwhile, a nightclub in the city is selling a 3-pound Novichok cocktail, named after the nerve agent used to poison former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia in Salisbury. "You English boys should try it if you dare," said 26-year-old Nastya as she sipped on the drink. "The ingredients are secret," at a bar on Friday night. "It's deadly." Meanwhile, football legend Diego Maradona was last night accused of insulting South Korea fans at the tournament. ITV Sports presenter Jackie Oatley claimed she saw the former Argentina star pull his eyes to the side in a clearly racist gesture. Motson, "I thought football was over. Until Gazetteers, the nation's love affair with football was saved by Paul Gascoigne's tears at the 1990 World Cup," according to John Motson. Speaking today on Radio 4's Desert Island Discs, the retired commentator recalls one of the game's most emotional nights. Gascoigne crumpled when shown a yellow card that would have ruled him out of the World Cup final if England had beaten West Germany. He says, "It was a bad decade, the 80s, and hooliganism was a major part of that. We had Hazel, we had, for different reasons, obviously the fire at Bradford, and then the tragedy of Hillsborough. I did wonder if football would get back on its feet, but salvation arrived. I'll tell you what turned it," he adds. "We had the 1990 World Cup within a year, England in the semi-final." Gazza's tears. The broadcaster, known as Motty, recalls being at the FA Cup semi-final at Hillsborough in 1989, watching tragedy unfold as 96 Liverpool fans died. "It was soon apparent," he says, "the fans were not to blame, but that it was an issue of overcrowding. Mind guru hired to end pain of those penalties." This is the psychologist credited with strengthening England's mental resolve following decades of missed penalties and lackluster performances on the pitch, and has become a key ally of manager Gareth Southgate. In particular, she is said to have boosted the players' psychological resilience to the pressure of critical World Cup matches. Ms. Grange, who previously worked in the macho world of Australian rules football, believes that the answer lies in getting players to admit to vulnerabilities in team meetings. This, she argues, creates trust on and off the pitch and leads to better performances. "Pitt has a way of getting everyone to open up," said an insider. Tottenham defender Danny Rose said last week that the new approach helped him to feel able to talk publicly about his depression, which left him rejuvenated when England played Costa Rica in a warm-up.